That is something we got to talk about in the football world. When history is made, that is something that is on our show. We have to talk about it unless we cover it Thursday, which I kind of don't like to double dip a lot on the news.
Mm-hmm.
We get to cover it because it came out before Tuesday. So we're going to go ahead and grab dibs. And if they end up touching it Thursday, just end up touching it Thursday. So we know as of today, as of right now, that the highest paid players in the league are quarterbacks. Those are the guys that make the decisions. Those are the guys that have just pretty much everything on their plate. They got the main entree. Everybody else has the sides. They pretty
Mm-hmm.
much do. They doers get more done. You know, they do everything just about for the team. I don't want to say everything. It's a team sport, but the money reflects the responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, quarterbacks end up getting say 50 million a year because they are the guys that make the decisions. Well, we have a non-quarterback who has just made the most money for a non-quarterback position, and it is more than half of the QBs, over half of the QBs that are making in the league. Now, if you were unfamiliar, anybody out there, Justin Jefferson, LSU wide receiver, won a national championship with Joe Burrow, who is actually the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. He made history, signed a 4-year, $140 million deal. He's making $35 million a year. 110 of that is guaranteed money, whether he plays, breaks his ankle. It doesn't matter. He's getting 110 of it, which we're going to talk about that in a second. Now, two LSU alumni. Well, I say alumni. Joe Burrow didn't graduate from LSU, but you get what I'm saying. They're the highest paid people in the league. One's about what 56 million a year, roughly. I think Joe Burrow might
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
more than that, roughly. And then Justin Jefferson's $35 million a year. I want to talk about the contract first, and then I want to talk about what this means for non-QB players in the league. Let's talk about that guaranteed money. Okay, what does it mean for Minnesota to put all to basically you only 30 million of it you don't have to give him if he breaks his ankle, but you got to give him that 110 million because you said, hey, that's guaranteed money. We're giving this to Justin Jefferson. What does it mean when a team puts all their eggs in the basket for one player? Is it detrimental to? Could this be detrimental to Minnesota if Justin Jefferson does not end up playing all 4 years?
Well, before we get started, DQ, I love you. I love you. I love you. That's a great question. When you allocate so much money, like so much of your cap to one player, and it takes away from you possibly adding on and strengthening other areas, because again, this is a team aspect. But we cannot negate the fact that Justin Jefferson, since he's come in the league, has been a force to be reckoned with. Him and Kirk Cousins, that relationship and that rapport was just one of the best in all of the league. Outside of course, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey. Um, but he's earned that salary. He's earned that guaranteed money. And one of the things about it is that again, the market as we see that Justin Jefferson right now is the highest paid player that's outside of a non-quarterback position. But the market is going to continue to get reset every year. Again, because players are going to want more and more. Okay, they're basing it off of what the player gets now. So if I could elaborate a little bit deeper. Okay, some years ago, uh, Alvin Kamara had signed the biggest contract in NFL history and highest paid running back when he signed a 5-year, $75 million deal with New Orleans, which was 15 annually. Well, Christian McCaffrey just again broke the bank and reset the market again by signing a 2-year extension with San Francisco today, or was it yesterday? It was either today or yesterday for 38 million, which pays out 19 million annually. So he's going to make over the next what I guess 4 years, roughly 16.5 million a year. The market's going to get reset every year. And again, it's tricky. The part that's tricky, and I'm learning this aspect of the game is when it comes to the guaranteed money and how it breaks down and the dead money, the guaranteed dead money and everything. Now, he signed a 4-year, 140 million with 110 of it guaranteed. So that 110 is guaranteed off top. So basically, his salary is going to be that 4 years, that 30 million. Everything else is going to be broken into like a roster bonus, again, workout bonus, incentives, things of that sort. and whatnot. But you got to see how much of that is going to count against the cap. You have to factor that part in. Now I know a lot of that is going to count against the cap and it's dead money and dead cash. But the fact is, you want to see him play out that four. You really want to see him play out that 4 year contract because in year three, which that's the same thing that the Dolphins are about to be faced with. Tyreek Hill is going to want to reset the market because he's in the third year of his 4 year, $120 million deal that he signed in 2022. So he sees that Justin Jefferson again has reset the market at 35 annually. He's going to want to reset the market at maybe 35.5, 35.5, or maybe 36 again if he has another great year. So you have to look at it from the standpoint of each year. They're basing the contracts off of what the highest paid got to what they're going to get this year. So that's what it is. And you got to, again, it's the tricky part in it is the language in the contract with guaranteed money, workout bonus, roster bonus, again, dead money and everything. Again, you may have to renegotiate your deal because if I recall perfectly, Patrick Mahomes has signed the highest deal for a player, a 10-year, $500 million deal, $500 million deal. And after they lost that Super Bowl to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he started to understand about restructuring and again restructuring his contract every year to free up money so you can go ahead and pay these other places on the team, or excuse me, other parts of the team. Nice old lineman. You need an old lineman so you can again block for you. You need the weapons around you so you can win. So I mean, it's a plus for Justin Jefferson because he deserves it. Yet we're going to see how this affects the overall aspect of the team.
Well, let's elaborate. So a lot of people out there, Nate has described cap hit, dead money, all that stuff. We're gonna break it down real quick on what that actually means. So, Nate, if you don't mind helping me, because you were in the league, you understand how it works. We'll say, hey, we'll give an example. We have, say, a team has, I'm gonna lowball. They don't have this little. Say they have $250 million to spend for 1 year of their cap. Okay, Justin Jefferson just ate up 35 million a year. Okay, how does that equate in dead money, cap hit? I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on the how they structure it.
Yeah.
But let's give an example. Just let me know how it works for the people out there that don't understand how cap hit, dead money, all that stuff works. Just give me your best explanation that you can, if
Ah,
you can.
you know, and again, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. So I have to ask Mr. Mike Tannenbaum more questions and Bill Poley more questions in this part. So we look at the guaranteed money aspect of it. We look at the guaranteed money aspect of it. So it's 110. So 110 is guaranteed. So divide that by four. So 110 divided by four relatively is probably about 27 and a half. 27 and a half. So that's money, 27 and a half that he's going to get. That's just again, that's guaranteed. Now the 4 years, 30 million, that's divided into 7.5 million. That's the annual again on top of that. So when you look at it, you take the 110 from the 140, which leaves 30, and then you divide it by four. You divide both of them by four, which will tell you the salary. Now the dead money hit it's the percentage of the guaranteed money and the guaranteed salary. The guaranteed excuse me, the annual salary is a percentage of it. So again, that's why they try to get so much of that upfront money. They try to get it out as quickly as possible because relatively does not hit the cap. The back most contracts are they're back heavy, meaning for instance, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a $55 million cap hit right now. And do 50 if I'm not 55 million. That's the last year of his deal. Those contracts, a lot of that money at times is back ridden. So they don't expect you sometimes to see the whole contract, or they try to extend you to spread that money out, or to be able to, you know what, okay, hey, we can extend you, add a couple more years onto it and so forth. We can go ahead and give you this lucrative signing bonus. So the dead money and everything won't hit so hard.
And we just heard that, hey, Christian McCaffrey, although he is still under contract, the
Yes.
49ers utilize him as one of their main weapons in their offense. So they're going to go, Christian McCaffrey, we want to sign a 2 year extension for you. We're going to give you 19 per that 2 year extension. And what Nate just said, what that allows them to do is spread out that money for 2 more years than what they had before. So say Christian McCaffrey, like Nate said, was making roughly 16 and a half for, what does he have left? 4 years now?
Yeah,
3 or 4
now with
years?
the
The
new
new
deal, he
one?
has 4 more years
4
left.
years. Okay, and you said that it was 16 and a half per year roughly.
Yes,
So
roughly.
what that allows them to do now is say he had only 13 these next 2 years. Now what they have allowed to do is to spread out that money like butter across toast and push that money back into the next 2 years of Christian McCaffrey. Because look, we've said this before. Christian McCaffrey is hitting that age where running backs can no longer produce. How old is Christian McCaffrey?
Be honest with you, CMC is. I don't even know if CMC is 30
He's
yet.
he's 27. Okay. So what they're doing is they're trying to wait out until Christian McCaffrey has no more juice in him. Like Nate said, a lot of people don't ever see the end of their contracts, which is why it's so back heavy. They're making sure Christian McCaffrey, and it's all business. As good as Christian McCaffrey is, there is still a business
Yeah,
aspect to this money. They're going to make sure, hey, Christian McCaffrey, he's almost at that 30 mark where running backs don't produce anymore. We might make it to where he doesn't even see some of that money because we might get rid of him before then.
but you want to know the thing about it is, and Christian McCaffrey again, he has 3 more years until he turns 30. The now the caveat to that is if he produces again for the next 3 years and reaches the third year of this contract, he's probably going to be in line for another payday. Because again, with him and Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey is not just your running between the tackles running back. Him and Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, they're special beings, meaning they can catch the ball out the backfield. They are players that, again, they don't rely on just running up the gut, running powers or traps or zones. You get Christian McCaffrey in space. That's all you got to do is get him in space and get the ball. That's the element of the game. He is not just a running back. He is a football player. And he can affect the game running the ball and catching the ball. That's the thing. That's the caveat to it. And that's what, again, he does not have that much wear and tear on his body in regards to running. You know, he's carried the ball, I think, 300 times last year. He was the bell cow, but at that same time, he also caught. Let me go ahead and read, if I can. I'm gonna read off some of the stats if that's okay. Um, Christian McCaffrey, again, 272 carries last year, led the league 1,459 yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. But he also added 564 yards receiving on 57 catches and 7 scores. I think me and you talked about this. You know, if it wasn't Dak Prescott, it was Christian McCaffrey who was the MVP. You know, that's how I feel because the numbers, men lie, women lie, but that thing, numbers, they don't lie. His numbers were amazing. His numbers were amazing, very much similar to the year that AP won the MVP by being a 2,000-yard rusher. But again, I mean, whew,
So
wait, so
let's talk about this, Nate. Let's talk about this because Jeff makes a good point. JJ's getting 35 a year, and Christian McCaffrey's only getting 19. And I can answer this question if you need me to. Although we have just said, hey, Christian McCaffrey was pretty much an MVP candidate last season, more so than probably Lamar Jackson in our eyes. Why is Justin Jefferson getting more than Christian McCaffrey? And the answer your question, it's
yeah,
the market. The market has been set with players, and we talked about it just a while ago, players setting the market. So Tyreek Hill, for example, when he signed in 2022, when he signed his 4 year, what was it, 120 million, Nate?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, when he signed that back in 2022, that had then set the market
because
for people like Justin Jefferson to get even more money. Now, Christian McCaffrey, there's no running back touching $19 million a year right
no,
now.
no, no,
The
no,
market for running backs is what it was 5-10 years ago. It's been the same.
the
People were
market.
making 10 million. It was Adrian Peterson not
Adrian Peter
making
was the last. No. Adrian Peter was the last. Like Adrian Peterson, to be honest with you, was the first big contract. Like he
Mhm.
was like I think he was 7 years, 7 years, 100 million in Minnesota. He was the first big contract, and he deserved that for what he's done, and it was consistency. Christian McCaffrey, consistency, what he's done consistently since he's come in the league. Say the same thing about Alvin Kamara. What they've done consistently since they've been in the league, and the running back position has been devalued so much over time because of the game has transcended into a more of a passing, offensive type of game. You know what I mean? Exciting plays, deep ball, deep throws, and so forth. You got receivers that are averaging, 1,700, 1,800, 19. We're waiting for a receiver to break the 2,000 yard mark. The game is so exciting because you got quarterbacks putting up all of these big numbers and receivers having these big numbers. And the offensive aspect of the game, the running game, I don't want to say this and sound futile or even sound like, talking bad about it, but the running game is not how it used to be because the game is not how it used to be. It's not no more 21-12 personnel. We're going to run the ball, power down your throat, and it's that and the other to open up play action. No, they're coming out in the spread offense in 10 personnel or 11 personnel, and they throwing that thing. So that's the game and how it's transcending to where the running back position is being devalued big time because the running back position is not as important as having a good wide receiver, having a good receiving core and so forth, and a good quarterback that can go ahead and throw that thing for 400, 500 yards a game. And you know what? To be honest with you, we don't have nobody but to blame but the New Orleans Saints.
Because
Drew Brees, what Drew Brees was doing with Sean Payton in New Orleans. New Orleans never had a running game. It was always passing the ball. The highest their leading rusher, if I'm not mistaken, was Pierre Thomas, and he had 700 yards. They were about throwing the ball and spreading it out.
Did Pierre have more yards? Or
was it Pierre?
Reggie was more of our running back. Pierre was more of our. Pierre is what I like to call like one of the first receiving backs. That was our 1-2 punch, especially when we won the Super Bowl. I say we, Saints fan. Reggie was the man who ran the ball.
We can't
Pierre
forget
was your
Mike
check
Bell
down.
We can't forget Mike Bell, my old college teammate. Yeah, they had a three-headed running back. They had a three-headed running back group.
Don't talk about Mike Bell. You you want to hear a story about Mike Bell and the Saints? He slipped right in front of the end zone one time, and Sean Payton said, he said, get your butt off the field, yada, 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 and go get yourself some gosh dang new cleats.
Yeah, I remember.
You can't run the ball.
Look, I remember that because he was Sean Payton was wired. He was wired. He was wired for that game. He said a lot of. He said he wasn't saying that. He was saying
he did a lot. He did a lot of cussing that. Yeah, he cussed him out.